I was reading my comments this morning and on this pickup header, and someone had suggested something that I was contemplating doing in the first place, but I decided that it was a great idea and it's exactly what I'm going to do. I've already started, and that is I've drilled a hole. I'm going to tap that and put a washer on the back side of that to keep that thing from sliding off there, because I have no faith in that clip anymore. Actually, I have no faith in this system at all anymore. Like I said earlier, John Deere is going to come out with their baler tomorrow. Today is Sunday, and we're going to do a demonstration, and this baler has to be up there working alongside that John Deere. So that means I got a lot of work to do today to get to the point where I can actually go up there tomorrow. I got 2 hay rakes in the field right now, and they're getting some work done. So I have a real nice tap and die set that I bought from Napa. Yeah, I know it's probably made in Taiwan, but Taiwan's not such a bad place to have stuff made anymore. Years ago I'd have said, you know, Taiwanese stuff is junk, but, you know, you can get junk tools made in America, too. You know, as a matter of fact, I'm thinking that some of the better tooling is made in Asia now anyway. Right now, Taiwan's getting the shit kicked out of them by a typhoon. A friend of mine is in the Philippines, and the people from the Philippines, and a friend of mine from the Philippines is actually in the Philippines, and you're getting a rainstorm of biblical proportion. Now, I'm about ready to tap this thing. I'm using a 5/16 18 tap, and in order to do that, you have to use a 17/64. Ooh, and that thing is really cutting hard. I'm wondering if that shaft is hard. You just want to cut a little bit, rock it back and forth. And that's how I do this. Now, I'm sure you're getting a fine photo of my nostril hairs, my nose hairs, but that's okay. So, you just kind of got to be very careful, because if I break that thing off in there, A, it's going to piss me off. B, ooh, it's really going to piss me off. And C, I'm going to be pissed off. So maybe I've got anger issues, huh? I'm sure some people in this world think I do, but I don't. Oh, Jesus. Ooh. I'll blow that out of there. It's going to break it. Why is that thing going in but not out, huh? You ever wonder that? I mean, it turns easy. There it goes. I know what it is. Chunks and pieces of thread. I don't really want to go very deep with that thing. I should probably get some oil on there. I don't generally... Alright, hold on a second. I was told by a machinist that either you do this, you cut threads wet or bone dry. And he wasn't talking oil either. His name was Clarence... Lightshow was his name. I don't know if Clarence is still alive or not. He sold his place about 20 years ago and moved to Florida after he retired from his machinist job over in Flemington, New Jersey. A lot of machine shops closed down back a few years back because the industry there was pretty well shot. And this does work a lot better when you've got some oil into it. Oh, yeah. So, when I bought this set, I thought it was funny. You know, it's always funny when you get a naysayer, like, that, you know, that think they know better than you do. And, you know, I'm not saying I know everything. I've been accused of being arrogant as of lately, and I'm not really an arrogant person. But when I know something, you know. And you're not going to tell me any different because I know it to be fact. And if you can prove me wrong, then I'm humble enough to actually admit that I was wrong and, you know, take my lumps. Just so everybody knows, I'm not wrong often. I do my research. and doing research, I guess, could be construed by lesser minds as arrogance. So anyway, I guess if that's the case, they can accuse me of being well researched and less arrogant. But anyway, to finish my story about the tools that I had bought from Napa, it's pretty simple. They were young kids. I mean, maybe late teens. They were still wet behind the ears from when their mama dropped them. And I'm going to show you this hole now. And I'm walking out with these tools. Actually, it wasn't. That's the set that I got from down there. Now, I'm not saying it's the best set in the world, because it's not, but it is a pretty decent set. It's gotten me out of quite a few jams. And I believe that's what tools are really supposed to do, is to get you out of jams. But this is the set that I was walking out with right there. The worst thing about that set is the plastic case that it goes in. The back side of it broke off. That's the worst thing about it. That's a high impact set. Never broke. I haven't broke any of them. I think Tim's trying to lose some of them on me though. But other than that, anyway, see, they're like, "What are you buying those junk tools?" We only buy Snap-on. Well, I was like, and I knew it was a lie when I said it. I said, "Snap-on? What are you talking about?" I said, "This is the same company that builds Snap-on builds these tools here." You know, and I said it with a straight face, but, you know, you kind of got to defend yourself over these idiots, you know. They think they know it all. And the guy's like, "No, they don't." He says, "Snap-on's only made by Snap-on. Nobody makes Snap-on for Snap-on." Which, you know, he might be right. He's not, though, because I think Snap-on, Blue Point, Husky, and Craftsman are all kind of made by the same company now. I know Husky and Craftsman are the identical tool company. I think Blue Point is too. Now, I'm not 150% sure, but I'm 99.9. And, you know, if somebody can tell me different, then fine. I'll take my lumps and move on with my day. It's not going to be the last thing I talk about today, though. Yeah. So, anyhow, I got my bin bolt, what I'm going to use in here. And see, make sure she fits, and of course it does. Yeah, so, yeah, and that's grade 8, I believe. Yeah, so anyways, they, "No, you don't." And I says, "Well, you don't really buy Snap-on tools anyway. I think your mom or dad does, but you don't." And they're like, "Oh, what do you know?" I was like, "I know that these tools are as good a quality as Snap-on, or they would not be selling them. Because, you know, and they are. I beat the shit out of these tools. Put the impact gun on them and go." But anyhow, yeah, my bin bolt's going to fit. I'm going to get a couple of washers. Yes, sir. Oh, I dropped that. I got a big fat washer I'm going to put over the top of that, and then I'm going to put a thinner one behind it, and then I'm going to go ahead and crank that down. So now I've got 8 minutes of your time wasted. Let me do that. How's that look? I think it looks okay. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a snug. That's it. Alright, so I got a flat washer, another flat washer, a smaller flat washer, and then a lock washer underneath that bolt. And I'm hoping, beyond hope, that all stays together, because I'm tired of fixing this stupid thing. Now, I'm actually going to look. I'm missing my clip on the inside there, and that's the other thing that's concerning me, because I'm afraid it's going to woggle out of there. And I don't want that to happen, but I don't have anything there. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to give her a little bit of a snug, because it is just a smudge loose. No, it's okay. Everything's good there. We got oil in the oilers, and I think I'm pretty much ready to go to the field and see if I can break it again. I just got to put my tools away, and I will do that. Timothy just called me, and he is working over at another place planting another 30 acres of hay, 25 acres of hay. And hopefully then we're finished. We have a full total, or a full regimen of hay in the ground, everything. I have no acreage that is not planted. All of it is planted. Just going to be hitting it with 2,4-D and a little bit of nitrogen now, or Banville 2,4-D, or dicamba and 2,4-D, whatever you want to call it. So anyways, let's get this show on the road, and I think I'm actually going to raise the pickup header up a little bit to try and alleviate some of this ground contact. So, anyways,
okay,
there we
so
go. See you in the field.
I've baled about 70 bales now with this thing after I've done my little repair. And believe it or not, inside here, the clip is actually holding. That bearing is holding together. The chain looks pretty good so far. Hasn't loosened up to any, well, it has loosened a little. I'm going to have to tighten it up again because it's loosened up. There is a spring on that. I bet if I loosen this guy up here a little bit more, that one there at my foot, where that spring is, that might take up a little more of that tension. I don't know. Yeah, when I do replace this header, which is going to come as soon as I'm done baling this next week's worth of hay, then I'm done. I'm cleaning this thing all up, and that's going to be the end of the baler. But I'm going to replace this whole pickup header. All the pieces, parts and pieces that are broken will be replaced, including this sprocket, these sprockets, this bullshit here. Yeah. So that the next guy that buys this baler doesn't have any troubles right out of the box. I'm not a dick, you know. I mean, there's some people on this planet that would just not really care at all as to what happens with the next guy. I actually do, because, you know, somewhere along the line someone might say, oh yeah, that one lonely farmer guy had this baler. And with that, yep, I think that's what I'm going to do. Is just loosen that sucker up a bit. Now, loosen that up. Now look, this is a spring tensioner. So, and I'm not thrilled with the way it works. I could never get it tight enough, and what would happen is that there would skip. And, you know, this is what it is, but here's the spring down in here, and it's just, I'm not thrilled with it at all, but it is working. So what I'll do is, you know, I might as well just give a couple pulls on this. This might be loose enough that it's just going to go ahead and, yeah, it is. I guess Tim should have tightened that up a little bit better. Anyway, that being said, I think we're good. So, yeah, it's just loose enough that it will slide. Well, there's enough oil and shit on there. So, anyways, because I do care that what happens to this thing when it is done, you know, out of my hands. I know I've ridden New Holland pretty hard about the no-rower, or the Speed Rower 240, and rightly so. That thing just didn't work out. I mean, it wasn't a very good machine. I'm tired of complaining about it. I really am. And I'm not going to complain about the Speed Rower anymore, because you know what? I got the John Deere, and the John Deere is working out really well. This baler, to be honest with you, in its own right, yesterday's video I was pretty pissed off, and I wasn't thrilled at all about buying one of these things, but all in all, it bales good. I mean, it makes a nice, tight, dense, quality bale. It really does. The few issues that I've had with it have all been here in this pickup area. And here we go again. This son of a bitch has skipped out on me. God damn it. I guess that's going to become a habit. It's all been in this pickup area. I mean, like I've said 100 times, if you're not doing the volume of hay that I'm doing, this thing's probably been the best baler you've ever owned in your life, if you have one, and can't understand why I'm complaining. Honestly, if I was an alfalfa guy, I'd have this baler for 10 years and wouldn't complain at all. I got somebody coming down.